And our first story is on crime. The Secondary Police Command, they have arrested 2 persons for possessing a human skull and other remains. Police sources say the suspects are believed to have exhumed the skull from the Nzima area and was billed to meet a prospective buyer in Secondary, but luck eluded them, hence the arrest. The situation affected many who thronged the police station to catch a glimpse of the suspects. This development comes in the wake of abductions in the Secondary Takrady area in recent times, including the 4 missing girls. Natalia Kwanza sent this report, and it's read to you.
Ahmed, 18 years old, were arrested at Asamansudu, a suburb of Secondary in the Western region, Thursday afternoon. The 2 had approached a resident, John, not his real name, to inquire of where human parts are sold. The revelation, according to John, got him alarmed, considering recent occurrences in the metropolis.
They asked me where human parts are sold, and I was alarmed. I went to call my brother, but they ran away. We later saw them at the gate, took them to police station, but the police seemed too busy to talk to us.
Our source says the suspects, Isaac and Shamsusu, are residents of Ankobra in the Elembele district and Abuaze in the Shama district, respectively. They reportedly exhumed the skull from a grave at Asanda, a farming community in the Elembele district. Secondary Divisional Commander Chief Superintendent Foley Washington has further explanations on what led to the arrest of the 2 suspects.
In actual fact, our attention was drawn to a mob action in the street around Kasepsido this afternoon. I mean, early or late afternoon, late morning. That is around 10:45. So my men were dispatched to the field to assist what is going on. In actual fact, they brought 2 young men at the age of 18 to the police station. So what we have to do first is to interrogate them to find out where and how did they come by all this item. In actual fact, they informed us that they were 3. They went to Asanda Cemetery near Ilembele to collect the skull for sale in Asepsido area. Unfortunately, when they were at the roadside, the youth in the community accosted them and about to lynch them when the police came to the event.
In Natalia Kwanza's report for JoyNews.
Now let's take you to the central region, where there has been a 12% dip in domestic patronage at the Kakum National Park as children visitation to the park has dropped from 44 to 32%. And this has been recorded over the past 4 years. Officials relate the trend to the poor nature of the main road linking to the park, a 29.5-kilometer stretch which should ideally take just 45 minutes and approximately an hour for commercial transport to reach the park, currently takes more than 90 minutes. Nana Sensu Mensah decided to take a trip to the park and report his experience.
Fellow Ghanaians, we have dubbed this year the Year of Return to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the arrival of the first 200 West African slaves.
Yeah, welcome to Ghana.
People from all walks of life have listened to Ghana's campaign of the Year of Return, a call for all Black African descent to return home. So, we put the spotlight on Kakum National Park, which is the most visited tourist site in Ghana. This means many diasporans and other tourists who will be heading to Ghana later this year and even beyond would wish to visit the park. The journey from Cape Coast to Kakum National Park starts here at Pedu Junction, Through Jukwa, the experience of traveling on the road makes me appreciate the ordeal, especially of local tourists who mostly use commercial transport. It should have taken 45 minutes to cover the 29.5-kilometer stretch, but I have already spent an hour and still counting. The least said about the nature of the state of the road, the better. It surely leaves commuters the unpleasant option of enduring a ride on undulating and dusty surface. Kojo Bosompem is a taxi driver who regularly plies this route, transporting mostly tourists to the national park.
I can't drive continuous on this road for 2 weeks. I have been coughing since last week.
Some tourists who spoke to our news team recounted how frustrating their journey to the park had been.
But about a few kilometers to here, the road was very, very bad. We were pleading on the government to do something about the road. We even wanted to stop at a point because it was raining and then we couldn't continue. We had to wait for the rain to stop before we came.
The road. Yeah, the road's a little challenging to get here. In fact, we had to take the long way around.
Rocky. It was rough. It was rough, to say the least.
Facilities manager at the park, Isaac Asuma, complains about persistent verbal attack on personnel by visitors over the poor road.
This is 2019, year of return. We go about to other countries calling on people to come here and then enjoy our tourist facilities. It's so sad that the visitors come in, they listened to our calls, they paid attention, they came, and then our road is bad. They can't enjoy the experience. So please, authorities, whatever you need to do to get this road fixed, please do it. We are sick and tired of being attacked every day on a daily basis by tourists.
Finally, we got to the canopy walk inside the Kakum rainforest, which is the main attraction for these tourists. It passes over 7 bridges and runs over a length of 330 meters. But until the terrible state of roads leading here and other tourist sites are fixed, the objective of the year of return perhaps cannot be achieved. Nana Asansumensa reporting.
Now let's take you to the Ashanti region. And the Ghana Revenue Authority Task Force on Tax Stamp Education and Enforcement exercise in Kumasi clashed with some shop owners who claim they were unaware of the enforcement of the regime. The policy introduced 2 years ago requires traders to affix tax stamps and domestic and imported goods. Well, the GRE says it is intensifying the education and enforcement with shop-to-shop inspection. Besides, it is also reviewing its town hall meeting approach to mainly focus on group and individual stakeholder engagement. Nana Sensu-Mensah has more.
The Excise Stamp Act, Act 873 of 2013, requires manufacturers and importers to affix the stamps on the products before putting them on the market. During an unannounced inspection by the task force, a liquor and beverage shop owner at Asafo engaged in hot verbal exchanges with the task force, insisting education on the policy is scanty.
The government should educate us on how to fix the right stamps on appropriate beverage. Especially with the liquor retailers, we need thorough education on the tax stamp policy to indicate which type of stamps is fit for a particular product. We all can't use mobile phones to check the authenticity of the tax stamps.
These are imported products, and then it doesn't have a stamp on it. So these are smoked products, and then we are going to seize it, and then we look for the person who imported this product into the country. So
other infractions discovered by the task force included misapplication of the stamps and selling products without stamps fixed on them. Principal Revenue Officer Lydia Sarenim led the team.
They say we are not, the education is not enough, it's acceptable because we involve them in everything. We involve them. But if they are still complaining, fine, we've taken it in good faith. We are going to go back, re-strategize, and come back with educational again, because even this one that we are doing, we are still educating them. You remember when we went to the other shop, the lady was saying that she even didn't know the difference for the imported one and the locally manufactured one, because we saw that the imported product has been affixed with a local excise stamp, and she was saying she didn't know the difference. So even this thing that we are doing, we are still educating them.
Madam Asarenim urged consumers to insist on buying products affixed with tax stamp to ensure full compliance.
That we are pleading with the consumers to also help us, because if we are a consumer and you don't buy, the manufacturer will not produce it without affixing the stamps. So we are pleading with consumers, everybody, the media, everybody, they should upload the app and check. Even if the stamps are on it, they should check the authenticity of the stamps.
For Joy News, Nana Asansumensa, Kumasi.
And we have to end the news. But before we go, let's look at this. 4 persons, including others, are to contest the NADOWLI Kalio parliamentary primary. They include former MPP 2008 parliamentary candidate Wing Commander Eric Dakura, retired, who contested against the current member of parliament Abang Sumana Kingsford Bagbin of the NDC and lost. Joy News Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports that with the second deputy speaker of parliament Abang Bagbin no more seeking re-election, all 4 aspirants say they have a better chance of making it to parliament. Let's look at this review.
In 2015 did not go through the ballot box before he was made a parliamentary candidate of the MPP. He was popularly acclaimed as the party's parliamentary candidate for the 2016 election at an emergency congress. So he has no story or nothing to fear about delegates. His relationship with the constituency chairman of the party, Martin Andonya, at the time could be akin to the relationship of 2 lovebirds. 4 years down the line, and their relationship could now be described as that of a cat and mouse. So Elvis Bonet Mulembota this time round will have 525 delegates and Martin Andonya to decide his fate.
I have been particularly quiet about responding to the mischief and deliberate machinations of people who otherwise think Bota should not be the next candidate for the NADOWLI constituency. So I think that the primaries on the 28th of September is going to be a major deciding factor, okay, in making sure that the various factions and interest group of the NADOWLI constituency is brought to an end, because I have a landslide victory that awaits me. It's instructive to tell you that I'm not wrestling power with anybody. People are wrestling power with me. I pledge 80% of the votes.
Catherine Lankono is the second female to be appointed as District Chief Executive of NADOWLI since its creation in 1988. According to her, she is a District Chief Executive defined by resilience and with a big heart, who she said will make her the winner on Saturday.
I am affable. I am somebody with a large heart. I am approachable, and that alone gives me a lead way in development. Also, I have the lobbying skills, and anywhere I go to approach anybody for anything, I'm giving positive notes. So I'm sure and confident that if I become the Member of Parliament for NADOWLI constituency, all these things will be brought to bear for rapid or accelerated development of my constituency.
The third aspirant in the primary is Cornelius Belba. The middle-aged man is a banker but loves agriculture. He sees the primary as a done deal for him, and as a result of that, he has already started campaigning for the 2020 polls.
I bring in fertilizers for my farmers, for delegates and other farmers. I bring in tractors. You know, in fact, the last season I brought about 8 tractors. And these tractors were being subsidized for my delegates and subsidized for other farmers who are not delegates. So my eye is about the main elections, not the primaries. So I am doing a campaign beyond the primaries. Whilst others are looking at winning the primaries, I am looking beyond the primaries.
Former NADOWLI District Chief Executive and MPP parliamentary candidate is back, and with his old slogan, Anambelan Tieron, which loosely translates, "They are still in my mind." Dressed in his usual crumble-ass flannel shirt with butterfly design on his chest, the former Air Force pilot says his past record will win the day for him.
When I started, I didn't start as an experienced pilot, but at the end of it, I became one of the most experienced pilots. That's how life is. You start crawling, then you build up. So I don't believe that he's left. I can beat him in the terms of impact and performance. I have that confidence.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, NADOWLI.
Well, a well-spirited dance there, but there will be more dances, at least for the victors, as the MPP make sure that it conducts its primaries in the 100 orphan constituency targeted for tomorrow's primaries. And JoyNews, we will be right on the beat, bringing to you a live coverage as it is. Make sure that this morning also, when we speak to Evans Dimakun to get the gist of how prepared they are, because he came through the show this week, we would also get to know, well, the head start is. In the meantime, we have to again remind you about a story for Dear AM, and it goes like this.
Dear AM, thank you for the good work you are doing. I have a big problem. I want help. My wife and I have been married for 14.5 years, and as far as I know, I hide nothing from her. I am a finance person. Until recently, I used to work in a big bank which was collapsed by this government. When we got married, she and I vowed not to hide anything from each other. When I worked in the bank, she knew my salary, allowances, and anything that came into my 2 accounts. I had so much trust for her until some revelations recently about her insincerity got me thinking. I got a message from her 2 weeks ago, and it read, quote, "Please, I have sent 1,900 to your mobile money. Use it to buy the blocks. Let me know when the tiles will be done." End quote. I knew it was a wrong message to me. I was curious, so I went into her phone and saw pictures of her on a building site, several of them. I read more messages of transfers she had made to a number, which turns out to be her mason. I called to confirm. Dear AM, my wife is building a house and she didn't tell me. The one I am building for the family because we have 3 kids is not yet completed. I have lost my bank job and now run my 2 cars as Uber and Yango to provide for the family. She has her job intact. I still pay the bills as a responsible man. But dear AM, I am deeply hurt. I feel betrayed. I love her, but I have been having second thoughts about divorcing her. Who knows? She could even be hiding more things. Already her behavior has changed since I lost my bank job. I need advice. It is driving me crazy. Charles Day, Kumasi.